we're talking about some changes that are good changes for perhaps a very bad day. Craig Carrico from Greenville Fire Rescue. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I didn't butcher your name too badly, did I?
Not too bad.
Okay, that's good. Now, we're talking about some changes in CPR and life safety support issues that maybe people don't really know about, so we thought we'd kind of fill them in, right?
Right.
And you're our specialist today.
Sort of is.
Okay, we did that. Now, I grew up as a lifeguard, and I've learned CPR, and I've been doing it my whole life. Luckily, I haven't had to do it in an emergency situation. But I understand there's been some changes to CPR.
Yes, the new AHA guidelines from 2010 put more of an emphasis on compressions rather than ventilations. So we're gonna do hard, fast compressions, deeper, and that provides for better survivability rates.
Now, when you're talking about compressions versus the breathing, you're talking about you're just going to keep on going with compressions on a chest.
That's right.
And not stopping, doing the breaths, and then going back to compressions, right?
Right. It's uninterrupted compressions.
Okay.
Unless we're providing a shock for the patient, they're uninterrupted.
Okay. Does that also have consequences then for trying to get the patients and taking them off to the hospital right away?
Well, yes, because what we're going to do is we're going to run CPR on scene right where we find the patient.
Okay, so people might be worried, well, why aren't you taking them away to the hospital? But it's better to keep them right there and keep doing the compressions.
Right. The patient survivability rates are much higher for people that are ran on scene, CPR that is done on scene versus picking them up and possibly doing inadequate CPR on the truck, on an ambulance on the way to the hospital.
So better to do it right and in place than maybe not so good as you get to the hospital.
Right.
Okay, well that makes sense. You got some equipment back behind us over here. I've seen the AEDs, the electronic devices that do the shocking before. Mm-hmm. Is this a fairly common thing that you guys are seeing around the city now?
Yes, yes. We have them implemented pretty much throughout Greenville so that most citizens can have access to this wherever they are. Mm-hmm. So if they see someone go down and have a heart attack, they can immediately retrieve it from wherever it's located and stick the pads on the patient and provide a shock once it's analyzed. When you open it up, it pretty much goes through the steps that you need to know in order to provide a shock to save somebody's life. Gotcha.
Now we've got some of these in city facilities, and myself and a bunch of other folks in City Hall have been trained on this. Mm-hmm. Well, what's with this little tube thing here?
This is capnography. Basically what it does, it reads the victim or patient's CO2 levels.
Okay.
So we attach that to the patient while we're performing CPR or through various treatments. But the importance of it in CPR is that it reads at a certain level while we're performing CPR. Okay. So say that certain level is 15. If we see a sudden spike in that to say 30 or 40, we know that the patient's gotten a pulse back.
Good. Okay. Well, what about this stuff over here? I've seen bags before for breathing.
Right. Just a run-of-the-mill EMS bag valve mask. We provide ventilations for the patient while we're performing CPR, which we can still intubate a patient, but if we don't want to interrupt compressions, we'll use the King airway because it's much easier and you can insert it successfully without having to interrupt your compressions. Okay, well why don't you give us an example here, because if I remember correctly, you start off with, hey, are you okay, are you okay? Right. Does that work right? That's right. Yes, I got one right. Shannon Terrier's over here going, yeah, okay. Right, and we're going to have our crew come in. Okay, we'll bring them on in. Let's get them on out here. Right. So we've dialed 911. We've asked for rescue, said not breathing. You want to introduce the guys real quick as they come in? This is Jason Palmatier. He's in the #1 position. He's going to check for pulse, see if the patient's breathing or not. And then he's going to immediately assume CPR. Mm-hmm. Brad Johnston will be the #2 position on the left-hand side. How's it feel to be #2? Feels good. Good. He's going to attach the pads from the monitor to the chest of the patient, and then he'll alternate CPR once Jason Palmatier is finished with his first round of compressions. Okay. Frank Conklin is going to be maintaining the patient's airway, so he's going to be breathing for the patient. Gotcha. Is he #3? He is the #3 position. Okay. See, now I can almost get in my head that beat there, because I think Staying Alive. Right. By the Bee Gees. Right, and that song, if you go by the beat on that song, that's a rate of 103 per minute. Palmatier, I bet you never thought you'd be able to use your disco experience in saving lives. More than just a drummer. More than a drummer. That's good. All right, so it looks pretty
pretty good. You got even more folks coming in. This is a huge crew here.
Oh, yes, yes. We're going to have somebody at the number 4 position that's going to be at the feet, and they're going to...
Why don't you come around this way so you can kind of, we'll get in the background here. You step over here, because that way you can kind of see it better for me.
Right.
And you can kind of describe it. So you got the 3 guys. I say they changed off because that gets tiring after a while.
Right.
I know in training has always tired us out.
It
is. We
is,
don't do it for a living.
and that's why we have them alternating. Also, the 3rd man can alternate as well in case the 1 and 2 man get exhausted.
So I see you got the breaths going there, and you don't stop the compression. That's a good thing.
That's correct.
Okay.
So when he's finishing up his compressions, Brad would have his hands ready to go for the next set. And as soon as Jason takes his hands off, Brad's going right down, so there's no interruption in compressions.
Okay.
You want less than a 10-second interruption in compressions.
Gotcha. So you got number 4's jumped in up here. Jones?
Number
No,
4
number 4's at the feet.
right down here.
All right.
This is
Chris Ciesco.
He is going to be providing the IO access.
And since the last time he was on the show, he's been promoted to lieutenant up here, too. Just want to give you some props there, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And he'll provide medications as he's directed by the code commander.
All right, so what's he doing down there at the foot, though? I mean, what are you going to learn at the foot?
He's out of the way,
Uh-huh.
and IO basically is a needle that's inserted, or a catheter that's inserted into the bone,
Okay.
and we can push medications through that access point.
Okay.
And he's out of the way of the people doing the compressions and the ventilations.
Oh, that's excellent. Okay. So if he's number 4, we got number 5 up here?
Number 5 is John Steps.
Okay.
He's our code commander, and he would be calling the shots. So we've hooked the patient up to a monitor, and we would read the monitor. So he would be watching the monitor when they stop to analyze the rhythm, and he would call for the shock.
Okay.
the patient needs one.
How long does this typically last?
Typically 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
They can last longer if they call it on scene. Patient comes, if they resuscitate the patient, then we would load the patient up, take them to the hospital, give them cold fluid, cold therapy.
Right.
That improves their survivability rates as well.
But by then, you're talking they can breathe on their own.
Right.
You've accomplished
That is
the main mission,
accomplishing
get
them
the breath back.
Having a pulse back. We may still be breathing for them at that point.
Okay, but they got the pulse.
Right.
That's what I meant. They got the pulse. That's the point of the compressions. All right, so now these guys have been switching off on their other things. I can see how everyone has their own little specialty as they kind of come in and do all of this. But of course, we got the backup for number 4. So does this become number 6 or number 7? I can't keep up with the numbers here.
Right. Well, number 6, he can talk with the family.
Okay.
Or he can assist as is needed.
Okay.
So generally when we try to have someone that can talk with the family, let them know what's going on, let them know why we're doing this on scene, and try to keep them calm. And it's a tragic moment for them.
Right.
So we need them to understand why we're doing this.
It can be pretty traumatic to see, a loved one on the ground being worked on like this. And I know from what I've been told, I haven't been through it, but when you guys are doing CPR correctly, there's going to be some bone snapping there in the rib cage. Is that right?
That's correct. That
Okay, so that can probably add to the whole trauma and the whole idea of what's going on.
Right.
Freaking people out. Okay. Well, this is good to know, and as long as people know, I guess the bottom line here is, don't freak out if you guys don't pick them up and move them to the hospital right away.
That's it.
You're doing the best you can to save their life right here. Better chance here than while you're moving in the ambulance, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Is there anything else you want people to know?
I think that about wraps it up.
Thank you very much, Craig. I
Thank you for
appreciate
your
it.
time.